Hello, I'm Emily, and I'm living in an Airstream right now. This is not really what the original plan was. I do live with my brother and my sister-in-law, but we are redoing the floors in my room right now, kind of ozoning. We're just trying a lot of stuff, and it's easier if I'm not in there right now, so I am staying in the Airstream for the foreseeable future. And by foreseeable future, I mean till like Sunday. Anyway, since I'm just kind of chilling out here, not doing very many projects, I thought I would pivot a little bit this week and talk about how to be on your phone less. I have some good ideas. If you are trying to be on your phone less. I don't know, a couple weeks ago my phone kind of spazzed out and I didn't really use it for 4 days and it was kind of nice. You know, you can still waste time on your laptop or whatever, but I thought I would give you some of my top ways to be on your phone less if that's something you're interested in. How to spend less time on your phone. I made notes. Okay, now you don't need the video because you saw my notes. So my first tip is to get a digital watch and an alarm clock. That's kind of 2 tips in one, I guess, but a digital watch, because a lot of times you get distracted by your phone because you're just looking at what time it is and then you see a notification and then you get sucked into Instagram reels and whatever. It's just way easier if you have your time right on your wrist, easy to read digital, especially if it has a timer and a stopwatch, so you don't need your phone for those things. Then you can kind of just leave your phone at the other end of the room and you don't even have to like carry it with you all the time. And that helps a lot for staying off your phone. I feel like a lot of the destructive being on your phone too much time happens when you're lying in bed because it distracts you, it prevents you from sleeping. You always have these thoughts as you're falling asleep, like, what if I bought a house in Galveston? How much would that cost? Let me go see house listings on Zillow. You know, you always have these thoughts right before you go to sleep. So if you can have your phone on the other end of the room, that helps so much for not just getting distracted when you should be falling asleep. If you don't have an alarm clock, you basically have to have your phone there to wake you up or to see what time it is in the night. So get an alarm clock. It helps so much. My second tip for spending less time on your phone is to actually make a list. It could be a mental list, whatever, but just think about what social media do I serve and what social media serves me, or like what apps, what websites, whatever. Because it's important to remember that you can't just look at your screen time and know if you have good screen habits or bad screen habits. Because phones are super useful for some things, right? They do help you stay connected. But like when you're on Instagram, are you feeling better and more connected to people, or are you feeling isolated and worse? How about when you're on Facebook? How about when you're on Twitter? How about when you're playing games, whatever? Does it serve you? Is it the thing that helps you relax and unwind and like just zone out for a little bit and have a little bit of me time? Or is it the thing that's distracting you from what you really want to do? Do you feel depressed afterwards, or do you feel connected? That's what's really important more than the actual time on your phone. So when you're trying to cut back on your phone time, make sure that you are targeting the parts of being on your phone that don't serve you. My third tip for being on your phone less is actually to fast. I know you may be wondering, like, wait, fast from food or fast from my phone? And I'm mostly talking about fasting from food, which may seem completely unrelated, but most major world religions have fasting as part of the religious practice. And I think that there's actually a logical explanation for that. I've never run into any practice that helps just develop self-control and impulse control, and there's like, we have long-term goals and short-term goals, right? And so if we have bad impulse control, we serve ourselves short-term and not ourselves long-term. We eat the food that's not good for us. We don't exercise, and we just get on our phone and scroll. That's not healthy. Like, the thing that's not healthy is the bad impulse control. And I've never run across anything that helps impulse control like fasting. But I also do recommend periodically taking fasts from your phone, fasts from social media, fasts from games, or like whatever doesn't serve you, you know, or even whatever sometimes serves you and what doesn't. Like, and if you're finding it difficult to have the self-control to fast from your phone, the best thing I can recommend is actually just like camping in a place with no cell service and no Wi-Fi, because then you have to be off your phone. And it also helps you do the next thing on my list, which is touch grass. So touch grass might not actually quite be the best word for this. I'm thinking like, think of those things that bring you wonder and joy, things you love doing as a child, things that are very tactile, and they don't even have to take a lot of mental energy, right? Like if you learn to knit, for instance, and you just like sit there knitting, it's a very simple stitch. You don't have to think about it much unless you're knitting something complicated, but if you're just knitting like a scarf, you can just sort of sit there and do, and it's just as mindless as like playing a game on your phone. But it might bring you more joy, especially because I think there's something about not just the tactile experience, but also just creating something with your spare time, something you can be proud of instead of just consuming. I think it's very, very helpful to us to create and to be in nature, and our phones kind of rob us of that joy. The next idea is kind of related. I think it's very important to develop connections with people. For myself, the times when I have been most addicted and most unhealthy with my phone, with the internet in general, have been the times of my life when I've been the loneliest. And this is a tricky thing because you can't just fix loneliness. Like, you can just decide to learn to knit or to make something or plant something or whatever, but you can't just decide to stop being lonely. Like, it is hard to make friends. It is hard to make those connections if you're not making them. And sometimes your only way to get real connection will be online. In person is always going to be healthier, but it may be calling your mom, it may be calling your friend in another state, whatever helps you connect. So those are my 5 tips for being on your phone less, if that's something you're interested in doing. That's really all I have to say on this subject. And I'm gonna go back to reading the giant pile of books I got at the library, all about how to build your own very small house. I don't know why. I just realized that this book here is not, it's a design book, like interior design, which is not what I want. I want design like this type of design book, or like this type of design book. I'm just really curious, like, could I build my own house? I want a house so badly. Could I build it myself? Or at least design it myself, you know? I want to try designing my dream house. I probably won't give you any updates, because I probably, if I do build my own house, it'll be like 5 years from now. But that's kind of my dream right now, my current dream. So I got 7 books from the library, and I'm gonna read them all. And in the meantime, I'm just here in my brother's Airstream, chilling, and hoping my floors will get done soon, and I'll see you some other time.